one more vital part of fighting back to stop being a financial zombie. Yes, you can take the mystery out of the complicated world of finances. Take charge when it comes to your money. Listen in on The Source in 96.3 FM and 1370 AM, Saturdays at 12:05.
La Famiglia Pizzeria has moved into Ocala. Stop by today at 2504 Southeast 17th Street and see for yourself what everyone is talking about.
Awesome place. I never get pizza anywhere else.
Great New York-style pizza and dishes.
Best pizza in Ocala.
One trip and you'll agree, La Famiglia Pizzeria is the best. La Famiglia Pizzeria. Stop by for a pizza that you'll love or call in and order yours for pickup. 352-245-2419. La Famiglia Pizzeria.
All right, thank you. 23 minutes before 8 o'clock. Later on this morning, we're speaking to the son of the guy who sculpted Mount Rushmore. Is Mount Rushmore a national park?
I do not know.
Okay. We go to the state parks a lot. And I think in the state of Florida, do we have only one national park? That would be the Everglades, I think.
I don't know that either. I
don't
know.
Anyway, you know, the one thing that I can remember as a kid, it was an advertising campaign, and it showed a Native American, an Indian chief, I guess, and he was looking out at the landscape and he was crying. That was a very, very memorable commercial, if you're old enough to remember it. And he was crying because he was seeing pollution everywhere. And when I was a much younger guy, I would fly a lot. I don't fly at all anymore, but I would. I just don't have any place to go anymore. But I used to land in L.A. and you could see the smog just hovering in the air, and. But that's a city. You would think that it would be clean in a national park, right? So we have somebody on the phone right now who's going to kind of fill us in on this. Ulla Reeves is on the phone. She is going to talk to us about this. Let's say good morning to her. I've been making her wait too long already. Good morning, Ulla. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great, thanks.
And where are you calling from?
I live in Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, I love Asheville. Now, Asheville seems like a real clean place.
Absolutely. Well, we have the Great Smoky Mountains right here in our backyard, and as you were saying, you know, our national parks really are our greatest places in America, and you would think it means that these places have the most protected environments, including clean air, but in fact, sadly, that's not always the case, and many parks don't have the clean air we assume them to have, and that's what our analysis with the National Parks Conservation Association called Polluted Parks, we sought to figure out just how bad the problem of air quality and climate change is.
Now, you would assume in the city it's the cars and the buses and the trucks. What's the cause in a national park?
Well, it's actually the same sources of pollution. The reality is that air pollution knows no boundaries, and our parks don't have big fences to block the air pollution. So even, you know, as you were saying, even in cities, you know, you think that pollution may stay there, but it doesn't. It migrates. So it's all the same sources like coal-fired power plants, vehicles, oil and gas, and many other industrial sources of pollution are contributing to dirty air in our parks and climate change impacts.
So the notes that were sent to us regarding your interview says that there's a report that will be released today, right? And
that's right.
Does the report give you any shocking information? Is there one park that is the worst? Well, I guess there is. There's got to be one. There's always one, right?
So, yeah, National Parks Conservation Association graded and ranked the pollution-related damage in these national parks by looking at 3 categories of threats to public health, hazy skies, and impacts from climate change. And what we found is that every one of the 48 national parks that we looked at are struggling with either or both significant air pollution problems or climate change impacts. And some of the parks in California, even outside of the Los Angeles area, Sequoia and Kings Canyon and Joshua Tree, unfortunately do top our list. But it might be surprising to your listeners that Everglades National Park right there in Florida is also at the top of the list in terms of haze pollution and serious impacts from climate change.
There's hardly anybody there. Is it drifting in from Miami? Is that where it's coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, air pollution really doesn't have any boundaries. So this Everglades are being impacted by pollution from Florida and from other places that the wind brings pollution in from. But there are many sources of pollution right there in Florida that are contributing to the problem.
Since you are grading the parks, do you give these grades to each of the parks, and then the powers that be in that particular region, do they do what they do to raise that grade to an A?
Well, so there's a program under the Clean Air Act called the Regional Haze Rule that is responsible for protecting air quality in our parks. But unfortunately, this rule, it's been around for a little while, and we know its strengths and weaknesses. And there are loopholes in the rule that allow states and polluters to game the system and avoid cleaning up all of those sources that are impacting. And what we've identified is that if the regional haze rule isn't improved, in 50 years, only 10% of the national parks that are required to have clean air will actually have it. So we need this rule to be strengthened. And that's what we're calling on the Obama administration to make improvements to this rule before they leave office.
So that would mean everybody everywhere, not just in the parks, right? I mean, obviously, if it's drifting over to the Everglades from Miami or wherever, then it's an all-world kind of a problem. How do we govern beyond our borders? Like if it's drifting over from China, we always hear that China's got a lot of pollution problems. It's got to be the whole world has to be in on this, right?
Absolutely, but we can control what's within our borders, and this is a national problem. We are in need of a national solution. The regional haze rule is designed to put a target on pollution that is affecting our national parks, and we need it to be doing its job better so that EPA and the states can do their job better and really hold all the pollution sources within our borders accountable for their own pollution.
So do you think then that the parks that have waterways that the boats go up and down, like we have some springs right here in our community, people that have gas-powered engines in their motorboats will come up and down the springs, and then you'll have that oil that goes to the top of the water. Do you think that some of the rules will be to not use gasoline-powered engines and just electric trolling motors when you're going up those waterways to preserve them?
Well, even small engines can be sources of pollution. Those small engines can accumulate pollution over time and turn into big contributors. So cleaning up engines, small engines, and diesel engines is absolutely part of ultimately cleaning up the air in our national parks. How that's done would be through the state compliance plans for the regional haze rule, and that states are supposed to be looking at all the ways that they can help improve the air quality so that our parks will have cleaner air.
Of all the things that you hear people wanting to run for office talking about, some of the things seem like why are we talking about this or that when we should be talking about something important? This is an important one. Well, I guess we don't have enough time for another question, but okay, so is there a way to learn more? Is there a website?
Absolutely. It's very important for people to get involved on behalf of the parks that they love and tell the president to make the rule that protects our parks stronger. Please have visitors go to npca.org/polluted parks and take action. Read our report. It's a beautiful report, very accessible and easy to get through and understand. We really hope folks will learn more and be involved.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to be on the air with us. I can't wait to get back to Asheville. I love your part of the country.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise.
All right, we will take a little break and we'll be right back. You're listening to WOCA Ocala.
If you're anything like I was, the thought of getting older was the last thing on your mind. But here we are. For me, it started slowly. The lack of energy, never being in the mood, and when I was, I could never perform at my best. I tried the pills and other treatments with minimal results, and all but given up on my sex life. Then I found the doctors at New Male Medical Center. Wow, they made a new male out of me. Feel like I'm 25 again. I have renewed vigor, so much more energy, and no longer worry about my performance. New Male treated me like my situation was one of a kind. With a custom treatment plan that really works, I feel great. They can create create one for you too. It does not matter if you suffer from low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, or just want to last longer. New Male will help you.
Call New Male Medical Center today at 352-404-4779. 352-404-4779. That's 352-404-4779. It will change your life. 352-404-4779.
Hi, Danny Warfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
Career Source Citrus Levy Marion brings together business and community partners, economic development leaders, and educational providers to connect employers with qualified, skilled talent and job seekers with employment and career development opportunities. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 9:30 a.m. to Career Source Citrus Levy Marion and learn how they can help you.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
WOCA.
Your source for the #1 sports weekends. Fox Sports, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Today, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm around, especially during the afternoon and evening hours. Watch for localized flooding. Today's high 85 to 89. Partly cloudy late tonight, low 72 to 76. For tomorrow, clouds will limit sunshine. Look for a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm or two. Tomorrow's high between 86 and 90. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
All right, 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. All right, I was telling you before we had our interview with the lady there about a couple of things, and I wanted to tell you about them right now. Okay. Physicist Stephen Hawking is in the news because he, along with business magnate Elon Musk, have sent a letter. It's an open letter, and it's not just the two of them. 1,000 engineers have signed this letter that warns about artificial intelligence and the negative consequences that may come with it. Listen to this. Are you ready? Let me read the letter to you. I got two letters to read to you, one from them and one from Franklin Graham.
Okay.
Two different topics, though. All right, the first one is from the physicists. This is what it says. Autonomous weapons select and engage targets without human intervention. They might include, for example, armed quadcopters that can search for and eliminate people meeting certain predefined criteria, but do not include cruise missiles or remotely piloted drones for which humans make all targeting decisions. Artificial intelligence technology has reached a point where the deployment of such systems is practically, if not legally, feasible within years, not decades. And the stakes are high. Autonomous weapons have been described as the third revolution in warfare after gunpowder and nuclear arms. What the group is worried about is an artificial intelligence arms race. Yeah, well, that would make sense. Artificial intelligence, it says, has great potential to benefit humanity in many ways, and that the goal of the field should be to do so. Starting a military artificial intelligence arms race is a bad idea and should be prevented by a ban on offensive autonomous weapons beyond meaningful human control. It all sounds well and good, but my thought about this is this, and your thoughts are welcome. What do you do about the bad guys who don't care about your rules?
Yeah.
You know what they say? If you outlaw guns, if you outlaw guns, outlaws will have guns. That's what they say, right?
Exactly.
If guns are outlawed, outlaws will have guns. So if you outlaw nuclear weapons, then outlaws will have nuclear weapons.
Sure.
If you outlaw artificial intelligence weapons, then outlaws will have artificial intelligence weapons.
Exactly.
So the good guys on the block will have no nuclear weapons and no artificial intelligence weapons, And the bad guys will all have them.
Yeah.
Hawking and Musk have been venting their concerns about artificial intelligence for months. Last October, Musk, whose business interests include Tesla Motors and SpaceX, said the technology could lead to the end of life on Earth.
Yeah, total annihilation.
Something happened on Earth once before.
Yes.
Maybe it was called the flood. That might be what it was.
Yeah, it won't happen that way now. It'll be by
All right,
fire.
so I wanted to show you that one. Read that one to you. And then the other one, hold on, the phone is ringing. Sorry, I didn't see it. Let me go to the phone, and then I'll read you the one from Franklin Graham. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. Interesting guest that you had just now. God, I wish she knew what she was talking about.
Oh, you don't think the parks are have air pollution problems?
Do you know how the Blue Ridge Mountains got their name?
No, I don't, Jim.
The Smoky Mountains got their name?
No.
When the English settlers got here in the 1700s, a blue haze hung over the mountains.
Right, okay. So you don't think, I'm just asking your opinion, you don't think...
Blue haze comes from the turpentine in the pine trees.
Okay, but she wasn't just talking about that park.
No.
But my question to you is, do you think... Hold on. Don't talk. I want to ask you a question.
Legislation.
Just hold on, Jim. I want to ask you a question. Do you think she's wrong about pollution in the parks?
No.
Oh. Well, that's what she's talking about.
It just happens that the blue haze in the Blue Ridge Mountains, Smoky Mountain system,
all right,
comes from the turpentine in the pine trees.
Okay, so there's no pollution. So there's
sure that I don't want to cut down all those pine trees.
All right, so
blue haze is going to be there.
All right, so what you're saying is that there's no pollution in the Blue Ridge Mountain area that is caused by cars. There's no pollution caused by cars.
Oh, there is some.
Well, isn't that what she was saying?
It gets its blue haze from the turpentine in the pine trees. I mean, that was.
So how did you not hear her point? How did you not hear her point?
I hear that there's somebody that wants to limit my mobility based on pollution.
I think she wants you to
understand that she didn't know what a trolling motor was.
I did understand that. Yes, I got that point. Yes. Yeah, that part she did.
These women want these.
She did fail the test.
Attention, women want to limit your mobility based on what they think they know.
That's your opinion. I think her opinion. I think what her message was to just simply have motors that are cleaner. That's all. I think that was her message. And my interjected comment was, we're not the worst players on the block. We got this whole other half of the earth that is violating these same things we're trying to clean up on. And if air can drift from South Carolina to North Carolina, then air can drift from China to America.
Right.
Exactly. And China is awash in coal plants. We're closing coal plants.
And I try to make that point with every one of these environmentalists that comes on, but it doesn't take away from the important message they're trying to make, which is that we have been dirtier than we could be. We have technology to be cleaner. That to me is the important message. Forget about global warming. I don't buy into that either.
Yeah.
But we do have dirty air. Maybe the Blue Ridge Mountain isn't as bad as she's making it seem, but come on, you know that Yosemite must have some problems. You know that the Grand Canyon has some. I've seen it in the Grand Canyon. I've seen the haze over there. I don't know if there's turpentine in those trees.
I'm not telling. I wasn't talking about the Grand Canyon.
But she was, and you came across in your first comments as if the lady had nothing worthwhile to pay attention to at all. But she did. She had some facts wrong, yes, but she had something important to pay attention to. And that's why we respect our guests, because we're trying to hear the bigger picture.
I drive a car that's much cleaner than the one I drove in 1960.
And I burn one 60-watt light bulb per night. And in fact, it's the equivalent of a 60 now, according to the label on the bulb. So all these people who tell me to calm down are out of line. But anyway, I appreciate your input, Jim. Thank you for calling.
Okay, have a good day.
Thank you. It's just when you have a guest, they have 10 minutes, 8 minutes in this case, to try to make a point. You don't want to be too rough on them because they are making a point. And yes, she didn't know what when you asked her about the trolling motor, she did obviously have no clue what you were talking about. And with the Blue Haze Mountains, okay, I didn't know that, Jim. You've always got one up on me as always. But that doesn't take away from the fact that we want to be polite when we have our guests, Not that we shouldn't argue with them, but sometimes they have 80% correct or 90% correct and 10 or 20% incorrect. So you gotta live with that. It's on both sides, by the way. It's on both sides. All right. Franklin Graham wrote an open letter to the candidates. The candidates he is addressing are Jeb Bush in alphabetical order. Jeb Bush, Ben Carson, Lincoln Chafee, Chris Christie, Hillary Clinton, Ted Cruz, Carly Fiorina, Lindsey Graham, Mike Huckabee, Bobby Jindal, John Kasich, Martin O'Malley, George Pataki, Rand Paul, Rick Perry, Marco Rubio, Bernie Sanders, Rick Santorum, Donald Trump, Scott Walker, and Jim Webb. And this is what he writes in an open letter that he posted on Facebook to those candidates. He wrote this. Franklin Graham, the son of Billy Graham, just so you know. I commend all of you for the desire to lead the United States of America. Our nation is in dire need of real leadership. In recent years, our political system seems to have fallen to a new low. If civility and honesty are not brought back into the picture, I think we will eventually destroy not only each other, but our nation. Leadership is not demonstrated by attacking each other. The election process should be about putting forth your ideas for a better America and for the future of all Americans. Many in the media will invite you for interviews and they will ask what you think of something another candidate has said. As you know, some intent to stir up conflict, and they can get you to fight. It helps their ratings more than it helps you. Ripping into each other, mocking each other, telling lies about each other and to the American people is not a display of leadership. You have put yourself forth as a candidate for the highest office in the land. Take the high road. All of us want to hear your ideas for the future. No one wants to hear the backbiting, petty squabbling, and negative attack ads that make a mockery out of our elections. I pray that God will guide and direct each of you. It is my prayer that you will consider the future of our nation and put that above personal ambitions. May this be a new chapter in American politics, and may we remember that the problems we are facing in this country today cannot be solved by any man or woman without the help and direction of Almighty God. King Solomon asked for God's wisdom in leading, and it is my prayer that you will as well. Signed, not Billy Graham. What's his name? Franklin Graham.
That is a wonderful letter.
It is a wonderful letter.
It's a wonderful
and
letter.
Who's abiding by that? Ted Cruz is abiding by that. Ted Cruz has been an upstanding guy.
Yeah.
Donald Trump fails on this letter. but I'm, there's a part of me that feels like you have to say what you have to say. And but he's making some good points. Will any of them listen to this? Will any of them make any changes in what they do because of this? No. They're not going to change because they're going to say, Franklin Graham, what do you know about running for office? What do you know about getting the vote of the people?
Yeah.
Even Donald Trump said, I'll change my tone when I'm elected. So his intent, according to his own words, is to continue doing what he's doing. Not that I'm against what he's doing, but the spirit in which he's doing it is exactly opposite of what Franklin Graham is requesting of the candidates. And I agree with Franklin Graham on that.
I think they're great. I love the fact that there are two letters out there.
All right. We'll take a break and be right back. Got a fun thing with Galen. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Gary Baumgarten. President Obama in Ethiopia wrapping up his African trip.
I stand before you as a proud American. I also stand before you as the son of an African.
As he discussed terrorism, at least 25 people killed in Nigeria. Boko